Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Welcome to Barira's Faith Journal. Today we are going to talk about something that has existed since before any one of us were born. Something that has been used to tear families apart, destroy livelihoods, cause illness, and create suffering. And something that even in this day and age, people are still deeply afraid to talk about. Magic. Black magic. Sihr. I know what some of us are thinking. Is this real, or is it just something people say when life goes wrong and they need something to blame? I thought that too, until I read what the Quran and Rasulullah actually said about it. And I want to share what I found with you, not to scare us, but because we deserve to understand it. While I was reading, I came across this linguistically. Magic refers to that which has a hidden cause, something that works in ways that cannot be seen or explained. In Islamic law, it goes further. It refers to knots and phrases that are used to affect a person's heart or body, to cause illness, to cause separation between a husband and wife, to cause death. That last part stayed with me not because it's frightening, but because it tells us something important. Magic is not just a folk tale. It is something that Sharia took seriously enough to define, and the Quran took it seriously too. There is a story in the Quran that I had heard before but never really sat with until I read it properly. It's in Surah Al-Baqarah, verse number 102. It's a story of Harut and Marut, two angels were sent down to the people of Babylon as a trial from Allah. They taught people about magic, but before they taught anyone anything, they said clearly, "We are only a trial, do not disbelieve." They gave the warning, they made it clear, and yet people still learned it, and from what they learned, they used it to cause separation between a husband and his wife. The verse ends with something that I think about often. It says, "And indeed they knew that whoever purchased it would have no share in the hereafter. They sold their souls for something that could not even benefit them." But here's what else the verse says, and I don't want us to miss this. They could not thus harm anyone except by Allah's leave. Magic cannot touch us except by Allah's permission. That is not a small thing, that is everything. Now I want to share something that I found in the Hadith that genuinely moved me, something I had to read twice. Rasulullah, the most protected of all human beings, the one who received a revelation directly from Allah, was once bewitched. A man named Labid ibn Asim placed magic on him. It was hidden in a comb, wrapped with his hair in the shape of a man and buried in the well of Darwan. Rasulullah began to think he had done things he had not done. He would imagine he had completed something when he had not. This lasted for a period of time. And then Allah revealed to him the location of the magic. Rasulullah went to the well, and when he saw it, he said to Aisha radiallahu anha, "Its trees are like the heads of shayateen." He removed it, and he was cured. And he said, "Allah has cured me." He did not take revenge. He did not publicize it widely. He simply said, "Allah has cured me," and he buried the well so it would not bring harm to anyone else. I love this account because it does two things at once. It tells us that magic is real. It reached even Rasulullah. And it tells us that Allah's protection and cure are real too. Even when it reached the most beloved of all creation, Allah removed it. There's also a Quranic story that I want to share with you, one that shows us how magic ultimately ends. When Musa alayhi salam stood before Pharaoh and his magicians, the magicians threw their ropes and staffs. By their magic, these things appeared to move like snakes. Even Musa felt fear in himself. But Allah said to him, "Fear not, surely you will have the upper hand." And Musa threw what was in his hand, and it swallowed everything they had made. And then the Quran says something beautiful. The magician will never be successful to whatever amount of skill he may attain. Whatever amount of skill, however powerful, however feared, the magician never ultimately wins. Because magic operates only by Allah's leave, and Allah's truth always prevails. Now I want to talk about something that many people don't know. Magic most commonly affects those whose hearts are weak. I read this in what Ibn al-Qayyim wrote, and it stopped me. He said even the magicians themselves accept that their magic only has an effect on those whose hearts are weak and those who follow their desires. Magic most commonly affects those who have little of their religion, rarely trust in Allah, and rarely make dua. So the best shield we have is not an amulet. It is not a ritual. It is our connection to Allah. The stronger that connection, the less entry point there is. There is also something Rasulullah told us that I find quietly beautiful. He said, whoever wakes and eats 7 ajwa dates, a specific date from Medina, will not be harmed that day by poison or magic. Something so simple, something so practical, not a complex ritual, just 7 dates and trust in what Rasulullah said. And of course, Ayatul Kursi recited every night, Surah Al-Falaq and Surah An-Nas after every prayer. These are not just habits, they are Amma. Now there is something important I need to say, and I want to say it clearly. If someone ever feels they have been afflicted by magic, the absolutely impermissible thing to do is to go to another magician for a cure. The hadith says, whoever goes to a fortune teller or magician and asks them something, his prayer will not be accepted for 40 days. And it goes further. Going to magicians to seek a cure only makes things worse, not better. The only lawful cures are ruqya, the Quranic recitation, and dua. That is it. And those are genuinely the most powerful cures. I want to share a true story with you now from the book of magic incidents that I was reading. There was a young man who had studied in America. While he was there, something went terribly wrong. His wife left him. She gave birth to a daughter he had never seen. He would shake and do strange things whenever anyone recited Quran near him. This went on for nearly a year. After nearly a year, a reciter recited upon him with severity. A jinn spoke from inside him. Before it left, they asked it, who bewitched him? He said, I have possessed him due to magic, and it named the person who had done it. He was advised to repent, pray his 5 prayers, and recite Quran. He got better, but then he became negligent. He stopped doing what he was advised, and the magic returned. This is a part that stayed with me. It wasn't that the cure didn't work. The cure worked completely. What broke it was disconnecting from Allah again. And now I want to share something with you, a story from a book I love called The Golden Stories of Accepted Prayers. A man was wrongly arrested for murder. He was not guilty, but he could not prove his innocence. He was in jail, desperate and alone. He tried everything he knew. He prayed to figures he had known from his upbringing. He called on whoever he thought might help. Nothing happened. Then one day, in that cell, he raised his hands and called on the Lord of the Muslims. He said, and I want us to really hear these words, "O Allah, I am not a Muslim, but I have tried all options and found them of no use. I beg at your door, relieve me of this ordeal." He had barely lowered his hands when a police officer opened his cell door. They had investigated the case fully. He was innocent. He was free. He walked straight out of that prison and went directly to an Islamic center. He said, "I need to worship the God that helps troubled and helpless souls and grants their prayers. My true Lord has answered my prayers," and he took his Shahada. I think about the story in the context of magic or any kind of harm we cannot see or explain. This man had no deen, no knowledge, no history of the way, and yet when he turned to Allah in genuine helplessness, he was answered before he had even finished asking. So if magic has ever felt like something that could take away our hope, I want us to hold on to this. And Allah answered a man who did not even know how to ask properly. He answers us. He has always answered us. As we close today, let's make this dua together. Allah, protect us from every hidden harm, every knot tied against us, every word spoken to harm us. And if any harm has already reached us, you are the one who cures, and there is no cure except yours. Follow for more forgotten Islamic stories. All informations are derived from Darussalam publications. Until next time, Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu.